I am a 36-year-old man, and my girlfriend is a 41-year-old woman. We met each other a little over 1 year ago and have been in a relationship ever since. We still don't live together, but have been discussing it, since we spend more and more time with each other. She is an amazing person, smart, kind, funny, caring, and sincere. To be honest, I didn't want to be in a relationship when I met her, but she is exactly the kind of person I would like to be with if I were ever to be in a relationship again. I just couldn't let this pass. I am originally from Country A and have been living in Country B for almost 10 years. She is from Country B. 3 years ago, she had a Tinder hookup with a guy, a 42-year-old man, let's call him P, from my home country, Country A. This is important. When he was touring in Country B, where both she and I live, he went back to Country A, and they barely kept in contact. 2 years ago, she went traveling to Country A, where she spent several months. She reconnected with P, and they dated for maybe 3 weeks, maybe more, I'm not sure. She told me about these times with a lot of excitement. She came back to Country B, and they kept regular contact, and some months later, last year, she went back to Country A to visit him. She told me that at some point she thought she was in love with him, but ultimately realized that he was not what she wanted and preferred him as a friend. This was maybe 6 months before I met her. From the things she told me about him and the time they dated, my assessment as a man is that he didn't want anything serious with her, besides intimacy and friendship. He is not the only guy that she dated casually and ended up keeping as a friend. For her, this is totally okay. She and P are still close friends and call maybe once a month or every 2 months. I'm not sure. Maybe they text a bit more than that, but it doesn't seem to me that they text regularly. Sometimes it seems to me that their friendship is a bit one-sided, with her putting in more effort. He only calls her when he wants to talk about topics related to him. She visited him, and he never visited her. Twice she talked about sending him gifts. He never sent her anything, etc. The gift sending is something that she does with all her friends and family. It's not like she puts too much effort into their friendship. She just puts in more effort than he does. At least, that is what it seems to me. I am a bit uncomfortable with their friendship. I was never a jealous person. I always thought it was wrong, and the fact that I am feeling jealous bothers me. I tried to hide it from her, but she saw it once and asked me about it, so I told her the truth. She got a bit angry with me and felt it was unfair because she is allowed to have friends. I understood her and agreed. It's not like I choose to suffer from jealous feelings. I have been working on putting it aside, in my therapy and through other actions. In the last few months, it has not bothered me as much, but half of the time it's there. Not as strong, but still present sometimes when she mentions him. I might have mentioned it to her maybe 2 or 3 times, but I have refrained from doing it again or showing it for the last few months, as it doesn't add anything anymore. She should know how I feel by now. I know she loves me. She shows it in many ways. She makes time to be with me so that we can have couple time. She introduced me to her family and is happy that I spend time with them. She puts effort into spending time with my family and getting to know them, even though my family is complicated. She buys me gifts often too. She writes me cards and leaves me loving sticky notes at my place. She wants to spend time with my friends too. When I had a health issue and needed surgery, she went out of her way to be there for me and care for me for weeks. She has been supportive in all of my mental health struggles, even though they impact her negatively as well. She also shows insecurities and fears about losing me, and a few times she has also shown some jealousy, although at a lower level. She is the one who has been advocating the most for us to move in together. She actually shows more confidence in our future together than I do. She loves Country A, my home country, and we are planning to move there next year. In the last couple of years, I have been thinking about moving back there, and I told her that when we started dating. She really likes my home country, so she is also happy to move there with me. She was already kind of thinking about it before we met, although she had no concrete plan for it. Her ideal destination was not the city where P lives, but the city where I used to live before. I have my family and friends there. That's the main reason why I want to go back. I'm not moving because that's what she wants. But P is the only friend she has there, so I am pretty sure he will be a constant presence in her life and in our lives. That is not a big problem for me, as long as it is within the normal parameters of an ex-turned friend. While she dated him, she had this idea to open her own business related to her biggest passion. She has been working hard to be able to start it, and she wants to start it in country A once we move there. I have been very supportive of her dream. I am genuinely interested in it and discuss it with her regularly. When she feels demotivated about it, I try to lend her strength and encourage her, even giving her gifts related to her passion, or offering her ideas to overcome the difficulties. Her dream business is famously physically very hard, low-paying, and consumes the owner's complete time, leaving a person without much free time and family time. She has been realizing this, and now she wants to start her business together with someone. More and more, she has been mentioning that she wants to start her business together with P. I think she wants him on board because she was with him when she had the idea, so it would be meaningful if she does it with him. He also wants to start a business of his own, although he doesn't particularly share her passion. As much as I would like her to have a business partner helping her, I am very uncomfortable with the partner being him. The idea of her spending her whole days with him, someone that she desired and might even have loved, scares me. She will be spending much more time with him than she will be spending with me. Also, she is going to achieve her dream together with him. I have been assessing my own thoughts and insecurities, and I think I am afraid that the whole thing will rekindle her feelings for him, creating a bond between them that goes beyond friendship. I struggle between thinking that what she wants to do should be okay, and other times thinking that it is inappropriate for her to do it. And in those moments, I find it strange that she doesn't even think of how I might feel about that. She never asked me how I feel about it. I know he is her friend, and she needs good friends. But he is not like any other friend. He is a past love interest. I feel like those cannot be put into the same category as any other good friend. Or am I being immature? I'm thinking about telling her how I feel, that I am uncomfortable about it, and that I don't find it appropriate for her. But I am also afraid that I'm being unreasonable or controlling or an hurtful boyfriend. And I really don't want to be like that. I also want to challenge my own shortcomings and be able to grow. So I am here looking for some outside perspective. What do you all think? Should I tell her how I feel, or should I accept it as something I can't control and trust in her? To add, since this has been on my mind the whole day, I've been reassessing my memories of the times she mentioned starting the business with him and remembered some things. She didn't just start thinking about him as a business partner recently. I think it was the plan from the beginning, even before she met me, because they were together when they had the idea. He might be more interested in her business idea than I thought. I almost forgot. It seems I didn't describe her angry reaction to my jealousy correctly. I think I had more or less 3 conversations with her about my jealous feelings. Each time, she tried to reassure me that I have nothing to be scared of, that she loves me and doesn't see him romantically anymore and has no interest in him beyond being just friends. She says that she already had with him what was there to have and that she just wants to be friends with him. She values his friendship for the help he gave her when she needed it, and he will be the only friend she has there once we move. She answered every question I asked about their time together with sincerity, even questions that were intimate and whose answers could have hurt me, like when I asked if she had loved him. The first 2 times we talked about it, she was calm and caring and didn't lash out in any way. She tried to be understanding and reassuring. The 3rd time was after they had been on the phone catching up. She called me afterward, and when she told me she was on the phone with him, I became quiet and withdrawn. She saw my reaction and became frustrated that this is going to be my reaction every time she calls her friend. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. If you're going to make it through, you do need to speak to her about this. It's not some sort of objectively inappropriate or evil thing for her to do, but rationally, it is anxiety-provoking for you that she's drastically increasing her interactions with and then financial dependence on an ex. Honestly, the biggest issue I see here is that he doesn't share her passion, but apparently just wants to be his own boss. You're already concerned that he doesn't give her as much as a friend as she offers him. That really isn't the best person to get in bed with, financially speaking. As a partner, I'd be encouraging her to find another partner because P doesn't bring enough to the table. I would also honestly own my concerns about spending so much time so close to an ex. In the end, it's her call, but the arguments against P here go further than you being insecure. Admit you're insecure, but also share your other valid concerns. Comment 2. Been there, done that. You can't trust someone who doesn't consider or value your feelings, and it's just straight up manipulative to make you feel like it's your problem for feeling weird about it. Her behavior is weird. Your feelings about it are normal. You'll also never feel at ease while they're off working alone together, and she will talk to him about your feelings of jealousy, and they will bond over it. But you don't even need to go out on that note. She wants X, you want Y. They are not compatible, and in fact, diametrically opposed. Wish her well, and find the person waiting for you with whom you won't feel this way. It's not who you're with now, and you'll never find her if you stay. Now for the update. The day after Olivia and I celebrated our anniversary, she messages me to meet up. We set a time to meet at this diner that's like my second home because their milkshakes are amazing. You can tell I'm a regular, right? Anyway, I get there, and Olivia looks really uneasy. We grab a corner booth like we always do, and she drops the news that we need to talk about her business plans with P. Right away, I'm feeling all kinds of messed up, but I push my feelings down because I just want to be supportive. So, she starts explaining how she and P have been taking their business idea seriously. Like, really seriously. P has already lined up meetings with potential investors in my home country. My stomach drops at the mention of P being involved in our future plans. It feels like someone kicked me in the gut. Olivia keeps insisting that P is just a friend and she trusts him professionally. Sure, whatever. Later that week, I go to a family gathering for my cousin's wedding. Olivia got invited, but she decides to skip it to focus on her business proposal. I can't say I was upset about it. At the wedding, my parents ask about Olivia and our plans. My mom's all smiles, saying how happy she is that I'm dating someone like Olivia. I can tell she's relieved because my last girlfriend was a total nightmare. During the reception, I overhear my cousin mentioning how P has been showing up more lately. My stomach drops again. I don't even want to know what that means. A few days later, I'm working on my laptop at home when I notice an email from P in Olivia's inbox. It's all about logistics for their business and upcoming meetings. It's like the universe is saying, "Here, take a look." I confront Olivia later that night, and she gets all defensive, saying she didn't think it was a big deal and that it's all business. We get into this heated argument about trust and boundaries, and I can't help but let my insecurities show. I tell her I don't like how much P is in our lives, and she yells that I'm being ridiculous, that he's just a friend. She storms out, saying she needs space to think, and I'm left feeling like a total jerk. The following week, I go to a family dinner at my parents' place. My mom casually drops that she saw P at a local event, and I'm like, oh great, just what I needed. My brother Jake tries to lighten the mood by joking about how P seems to be everywhere these days. I just laugh along, but inside, I'm screaming. Later that night, I get a call from Olivia asking to meet up again. We meet at this quiet coffee shop, and she seems so distant, like she's not really there. She tells me she's decided to go to my home country to meet with P about the business. I feel my heart sink because I know how important this is to her, but I can't help but ask if she still sees P as just a friend. There's this long pause, and I know right then that something's off. We get into another argument about her choices and what it means for us. She says she needs to do what's best for her future, and I can't help but feel like I'm being left behind. A few days later, I get a text from Olivia saying she's taking a break. Just like that, everything's gone. Edit. I never thought Olivia and I would end up like this. She called off our anniversary plans and said she needs time away from me and P. The break is indefinite, but she promised to keep me posted. I feel like I'm losing her, but I also know this is her decision. It's painful. Aita for leaving my drug-addicted partner and taking our kids to Tennessee. AA for leaving my drug-addicted partner and moving back to Tennessee while pregnant. The issue is significant. We've been together for 7 years, unmarried. I have so many qualms, but I wonder if my pregnancy hormones are getting in the way. My partner works for Uber as the main source of income for our family. Last year, I rejoined the workforce for a career opportunity with the county, and I was quickly promoted and could have seen myself getting promoted again within the year. Except I quit. Probably not the greatest decision on my part, but I did it for the safety of my child. My partner had picked up a brief drug habit as a way to deal with the stress. Mind you, I was working full-time, plus coming home, putting our baby to bed, and nursing all throughout the night. We both operated on around the same amount of sleep most nights, 2 to 6 hours, depending. His habit led to him crashing the vehicle I used to get to work, and there was just too much damage to our relationship and finances, yet he blamed me for setting us back. He swore he could earn more than I was making by doing Uber, and for me to get back on government assistance because we lost that when I went back to work. I know, please don't judge me. Now, he has a car rental that is ridiculous on top of our expenses, but sometimes he gets help from his mom to help cover the cost of this. On top of all of this, I have also been going to school for him through online classes at an online community college and have brought in approximately $30,000 in financial aid, grants, and scholarships for him. He has gotten the majority of the money while I do all of the schoolwork. In the time I've been with him, I've earned my Associate of Arts and my Bachelor of Arts, and would really like to work towards either a master's degree, a paralegal certification, or a law degree. I am naturally ambitious and strive for success on my own because I was brought up in a rough environment as the oldest daughter of 8. This is not necessarily an attractive quality to men, but I don't care. I feel like everything is on me, and I have to figure something out because I cannot rely on him to live the type of life I want and the life I want to give my children. He also receives help from his mom several times throughout our relationship, and I hate to say this, but I feel like I am also playing the role of mom to him many times. I have family in Tennessee, I currently live in California, and I am pregnant again. I desperately want to be around my dad and my family this time. I feel so isolated, and I know I would get a lot more support to achieve my goals and to be supported in ways I don't always feel from my partner. I feel like I am always left picking up the pieces, taking care of my partner even financially. Even though I'm not working right now, I give nearly everything from the government assistance to him and to the bills. That's where all my money goes. I recently purchased a one-way ticket to go to Tennessee at the end of the month and plan to be out there for a few weeks. I just feel guilty because, for the better part of a year now, I have wanted to go back just to be able to give us a break and for him to really dedicate himself to work. He always flips it on me and blames me or our toddler for him not being able to work as much as he'd like, and I am sick of it. I don't want to take away his chance of being a dad and having a relationship with his kids, but I am scared he won't rise to the occasion. I worry he will slip into old ways and revert back to doing drugs again, but I am also at a point where I don't care and just need to focus on myself and the kids. Any input and advice is appreciated. Thank you in advance for reading such a long post. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You're going to school for him? Absolutely not. You're also committing fraud for a drug addict. Leave him. Comment 2. Stop having children with this man. He is taking advantage of you and will drag you down for your whole life. Now, for the update. I'm back, but things are still a mess. A few days after my trip to Tennessee, I got home feeling a bit better, but still dealing with a lot of unresolved stuff. My partner seemed surprised to see me back sooner than expected. I don't know if it was a good or bad surprise. He said he had been managing just fine with the kids while I was away, but I had my doubts about how well he really handled things. Walking into the house was like stepping into a disaster zone. I mean, there were toys scattered everywhere, and the dishes were piled up in the sink like they were trying to win a contest for the most neglected. My partner claimed he had been busy with Uber rides, but I checked and there were no earnings during that time. It's like he thought I wouldn't notice. Then, to make things more complicated, his mom showed up unannounced with groceries and some cash. She offered her help, which was nice, but it felt like she was invading our space. My partner seemed annoyed by her interference, which just added to the awkwardness in the house. Trying to ease the tension, I decided to cook dinner for everyone, but my partner didn't help at all. During dinner, my partner's mom asked why I didn't stay longer in Tennessee. It was a simple question, but my partner snapped at her, saying it was none of her business and that he could handle things on his own. The kids were sitting there, looking confused by the sudden change in mood, glancing back and forth at their parents like they were watching a tennis match. I noticed my partner was on edge, checking his phone constantly and pacing around the living room. A few days later, he mentioned that he had a big opportunity that could change everything for us. I assumed it was related to Uber, but I didn't want to ask too much. I could feel the excitement in his voice, but there was also something off about it. One evening, while he was out, I found an envelope hidden in the couch cushions. Inside was a lease agreement for a new car that he had signed without talking to me about it. Like, seriously? I confronted him about it when he got home. He said it was necessary for his new business venture, and he got super defensive. Our arguments escalated after that. He accused me of not believing in him, and I pointed out that we could barely make ends meet as it was. Things got even crazier when his mom called, asking about the new car. He lied to her, saying it was just a temporary thing. I could tell he was getting deeper into something that wasn't good for him. He started spending more and more time out of the house, often coming back late at night. I didn't want to confront him directly, but I suspected he was using again. One weekend, he went to a family BBQ without me, saying he needed space. I thought it was weird, but I didn't want to push it. I felt completely blindsided when a family member told me that he was seen with someone else at the barbecue. I couldn't believe it. When he got home, I confronted him, and we had a huge argument about trust and loyalty. He just brushed off my accusations, saying it was all a misunderstanding. What a joke. To try and get away from all the drama, I took the kids to a local festival. It was nice to be out in the fresh air and have fun with them, but it was there that I ran into an old friend who mentioned hearing rumors about my partner's behavior. I brushed it off, but the seed of doubt started to grow. A few days later, my partner finally admitted he had been in contact with someone from his past, claiming it was just for support. He agreed to seek help for his issues, but he wouldn't commit to any specific plan. Typical. I finally decided to reach out to my family for support, but they were too busy with their own lives to really help me. No surprise there. His behavior has just gotten worse. I found myself feeling more determined than ever to focus on my kids and finish my education. Honestly, I started thinking that moving back to Tennessee permanently might be the only solution left. The final straw came when my partner failed to show up for a scheduled family dinner. I was left alone with the kids, trying to explain why their dad wasn't there. He sent a last-minute text saying he was caught up with work, but I felt in my gut that it was another lie. His mom started suggesting that I was the one causing all the drama, which just added salt to the wound. I'm at a point where I'm really thinking about a final decision about my future. The stakes are higher than they've ever been, and I know I need to do what's best for me and my kids. Edit. I appreciate all the advice and support. A lot has happened since my last update. My partner and I are separated now, and things are a lot clearer. After my last post, I decided to take some advice and reach out to a local women's support group. I learned about resources that helped me a lot. I found affordable childcare, which was a game changer. It allowed me to focus on my online classes and get back to work part-time. My partner continued to struggle, and eventually, he admitted he was using again. He asked for help, but it was clear he wasn't ready. It broke my heart, but I had to put my kids and myself first. I talked to my family in Tennessee about long-term support, and they offered to help us move back. So, I'm going to take that step soon. Aita for expecting my boyfriend to contribute when he's been lounging at home for over a month. Aita for being accused of treating my boyfriend like a servant when he works less than me. My boyfriend, 32 years old, and I, 32 years old, have been together for 8 years. It's been an amazing relationship. We both work, and he's always been very equalitarian about everything. We split bills equitably depending on our income. We split housework very equally. Whoever works fewer hours does a little bit more than the other. I've never had to ask him to do anything. He sees mess and cleans it. He cooks dinner a lot of the time because it's his passion and he's amazing at it. But I've never expected it of him. I cook when he doesn't, or we order takeout. That being said, up until recently, he's always worked slightly longer hours and earned slightly more than me. Not by a lot, maybe at most £5,000 per annum difference in income. About a year ago, he changed jobs and now works as a contractor. When he works long hours, 14-hour days, but then he's also off work a lot. Recently, he hasn't had any contracts, so he's been relaxing for about a month and a half. I work full-time, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and currently earn about £18,000 more than he does. He stepped up a little bit regarding housework. He cooks all the dinners currently, does all the grocery shopping, and helps with errands when I can't get away from work. He always offers to help whenever he can. He doesn't clean more, but I'm happy to carry that load because he's stepped up in other ways. But he sat me down to chat the other day and said, "You know I'm not your slave, right?" I was baffled and asked what he meant. He said, "You've been expecting me to do a lot for you recently. I feel like your servant." I pointed out that he works less than I do, so it's equitable, and he disagreed. I also pointed out that I don't expect anything of him, that he always offers to do these things, and that I've always said, "We can go grocery shopping together after I finish work," but he always says, "No, I'd rather do it now before the after-work rush." So I thought everything was fine. He pointed out I do this with other things too. The main one that made me think he's gaslighting me is that whenever there's a slightly off banana, or the last slice of bread, or I accidentally burn my toast, he always offers to eat it. But now he's saying I treat him like a rubbish bin for old food and expect him to eat it. I'm so confused. I genuinely don't feel like I expect anything of him. He offers to do these things, but now he's flipping the script. I asked if he feels I don't show enough gratitude for everything he does, and he said, "No, you're very gracious about it, but I think you expect too much of me." What is happening? Is he gaslighting me? Is he feeling emasculated because he's no longer the breadwinner? Is he showing subconscious misogynistic biases by thinking that him doing slightly more housework is oppressive, even though I used to do slightly more when I was in his position? Am I blind to how badly I might be treating him because I've never been in this situation before? I don't want to invalidate his feelings, but I'm so confused. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. First of all, gaslighting is a specific form of mental abuse. It involves systematically manipulating a person into thinking they are crazy. It is not just being a jerk or saying something I don't think is right. Did the two of you ever actually communicate about the sharing of expenses and chores? Or has it just always sort of worked out that way? If so, then simply point out to him that you two agreed that the person who is working less does more of the chores. He's not working. He should be doing more chores. If not, then you need to reflect on why you feel like that was the agreement. Explain to him that it has always seemed like the case, and you just assumed that he would pick up the slack a little bit. As for the rubbish bin thing, that is a little bit weird. With the banana example, are you both eating bananas, and he's offering to eat the overripe banana and giving you the better one? Or is he just looking at a single banana and thinking, "I should eat that so it doesn't go bad"? If it's the former, then it's nice of him to offer. But if he is upset about the situation, he needs to express that in the moment. It's unreasonable for him to offer to do something and then resent you for accepting his offer. Still, not gaslighting. You should talk about this. If it's the latter, then this really doesn't make any sense. Why would he offer to eat a single banana just to get rid of it? And why would you say, oh yeah, please eat the banana you don't even want to eat just so it doesn't go bad? The whole thing doesn't make any sense in my opinion, so it must be the former, right? Comment 2. Thank you again to everyone who commented with amazing advice. We sat down to have another chat about this. I outlined that I was upset about his emotive use of language and the way it painted me to be someone he should know I am not, that even if it turns out the share has been unfair, he must know it was not intentional. He accused me of deflecting initially, but then calmed down and listened. I told him I won't be giving him my burned toast or overripe bananas anymore, even if he offers to eat them. He deserves to eat good food too, and not treat himself like that for my benefit. We can afford to throw out a banana every now and again, and I can scrape the burned bits. We went over everything from the past year work-wise, and as I suspected, he is working about 500 hours less than me in that year, as well as earning less. So, I asked him if he's comfortable doing more around the house, or if he might want to get a second job or a new job with more hours, and he seemed reluctant on all fronts. So, this is an ongoing argument that we're working on. I think he's enjoying his extra free time a lot and not realizing how it might impact me. We also set a timetable for groceries and will be going together from now on, Saturday mornings, to see if that helps a bit. Overall, a 50-50 success rate on our conversation. I think he may be feeling peer pressure a little bit from friends about doing women's work for me. So we're going to tackle that. Wish us luck, and thanks again for all the great advice. Now for the update. 2 days after our last chat, my boyfriend and I went to a family barbecue at my parents' place. Thankfully, it was pretty chill. Burgers were cooking and kids were running around. My parents were happy to see everyone together, especially since my sister and her boyfriend just announced they're having a baby. It was nice to see everyone in a good mood. During the meal, my dad joked about how lucky my boyfriend was to have a chef at home now. My boyfriend laughed, but I saw him quickly look at me, and there was some tension on his face. This made me anxious, but I tried to brush it off and enjoy the day. Later, while everyone was chatting, he pulled me aside to talk. He suddenly said he felt like everyone was judging him for not making enough money, especially after my dad's comment. I tried to tell him my family didn't think that way, but he didn't seem convinced. When we went back to the group, he became distant, standing away from everyone. I saw my younger sister Kate talking to him, trying to lighten things up. She was really sweet about it, but instead of joining in, he just gave her short answers, making it awkward. Eventually, Kate left, looking confused by his behavior. I kept trying to include him, but he seemed more and more withdrawn. As the day wrapped up, my parents suggested a game of charades, and he reluctantly agreed to join in. While playing, he was aggressive and made sarcastic jokes, which created some tension. I tried to keep things fun, but I could feel the strain. After the game, he snapped at me when I suggested we help clean up. He said he was tired of always being the one to do the extra work, bringing up our earlier talks. I tried to argue that we shared the responsibilities, but he raised his voice, getting my family's attention. My parents stepped in, suggesting we take a break from cleaning and enjoy dessert instead. He stormed off to the backyard, leaving me feeling embarrassed in front of my family. I followed him outside, where he was sitting alone on the steps, looking frustrated. I tried to ask what was wrong, but he just brushed me off, saying he needed space. We drove home after the barbecue, both of us quiet. Once we got home, he went straight to the bedroom and shut the door. A few hours later, he came out, and we had a quick chat about the barbecue. He surprised me by saying I didn't support him during the family event. The argument got worse, with him saying he felt stuck in the relationship because of our money situation. I tried to say we've always worked together as a team, but he insisted it wasn't the same anymore. He mentioned feeling like he was losing himself, which was something he had never said before. Days went by with the argument still hanging over us, making things awkward between us. I noticed he was being more secretive with his phone, often texting late at night. One evening, I caught him in the bathroom, quickly hiding his phone when I walked in. He brushed it off, saying he was just looking up recipes. Our communication kept getting worse, with fewer shared meals and talks. I decided to invite his family over for dinner, hoping it would help ease the tension. He reluctantly agreed, but I could tell he wasn't looking forward to it. As we got ready for dinner, I overheard him on the phone, sounding defensive, but I couldn't catch what he was saying. The night of dinner came, and the vibe was tense, with forced smiles and awkward pauses. His family noticed he was different, asking if everything was okay, but he just brushed it off. The evening ended without any real connection, and both families left feeling worried. After they left, I confronted my boyfriend about his behavior, but he just deflected my concerns. The update ends here, with us still in conflict. He's been getting more distant, while I feel the weight of these unresolved issues. To answer a few questions, my boyfriend's family is unaware of the issues we are facing, as I haven't shared the details with them. His secretive behavior has included late-night phone calls, which seem to be work-related. The recipe excuse for his phone use doesn't add up, and I remain concerned. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.